What up, man? This is your big brother K-Rino. I want to talk to y'all today about the free ride. And what is the free ride, man? The free ride is a situation where, well, let me say it like this. There are people in life who, anything that they have, anything that they've accomplished, they put a lot of work in. They had to learn the game from step one. They had to go through trial and error. They had to receive a lot of rejection. They had to really grind and do what we call, you know, get it from the mud. And there are other people who received that free ride, meaning that they didn't necessarily go through those steps that I just mentioned. They got it a little easy. It was handed to them, possibly on a silver platter, or maybe they were in positions where they knew somebody, or they knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, and they seemed to reach this particular level without any of the pressure, any of the problems and work that went along with somebody else having received it. Let me give some understanding real quick. I don't want to make it seem like I'm knocking anybody who may have got to their spot like that. I'm not. I'm trying to make y'all gain the understanding of the two in terms of sometimes the appreciation of the first way and what could be a dangerous situation with the free ride. You have situations where people have inherited a situation where people are like, man, my father built this company up from the ground up, and my grandfather built it up, and it was passed down to me. And people look at that, hey man, that's perfectly fine because that should always be the goal. The goal should always be that if whatever you build, you should be building it as a legacy piece to be able to pass down the generations and to also make life for those that come under you easier than it was for you. That should always be the goal. But on the same token, even though you want to pass those things down, even though you want to make life easier than it was for you, for that person that you give this to, you still want them to qualify themselves to be able to receive it. See, because if the person is not qualified to receive the position, then eventually they'll mess it up. They'll lose the position. So qualification, in other words, learning what he had to go through, learning all the ins and outs of it, and putting yourself through that course will put you in a position mentally to be able to maintain whatever it is you were given if you didn't push and grind for it. So that's very important to understand. See, the appreciation of a thing comes with how hard it was for you to get it. See, and also that healthy fear that kicks in on us sometimes when we know where we came from. We know how hard we might have had it, and then we look at that and say, I don't never want to go back to that. So if I never want to go back to that, I got to keep working. So that's why you see a lot of wealthy people seemingly still pushing and grinding. A lot of people that are well off, they still pushing and grinding like they broke because they never lost that remembrance of how it was when they actually were broke. So and they look at every little thing, man, I appreciate it. Some people would even say that a lot of rich people are cheap. I said, man, that dude's so cheap, man. It's like, and some of them are, don't get it twisted. But sometimes they just had this thing in them like, man, I can never take for granted, what I have, what I've been blessed with. And they will flip out on anybody in their circle who doesn't seem to show that same appreciation. So the people who receive the free ride, the people who don't seem to have gone through that, they may gain a sense of privilege, they may gain a sense of entitlement, and if they don't again qualify themselves to handle what was bestowed upon them, it's just a matter of time before they lose it. That's why a lot of time you see people lose grandma's house, lose mama's house, granddaddy's house been in the family before you was born, and all the things that grandma had to do to finally get that house and pay it off and all that. And as soon as she gone, children mess the house up. They squander it off. They lose it. Because that appreciation, that understanding was never there because you didn't have to go through it. See, so that's why a lot of times people get upset and they feel like people don't deserve certain things. Well, it's nobody's place to say what another person deserves or doesn't deserve, I'll say. But on the same token, what I'm making this video for is for us to look at ourselves and to look at those around us, because the person that you may be lining up to leave this to or give this to or put them in that position, even if you ain't going nowhere, man, I'm just put this, they might not be ready for it. See, they may not be ready for it. So if they're not ready for it, look, it don't matter if it's blood. There are individuals who have shown more loyalty and more commitment than some people that are blood that you would like to be the one to give it to them, but they're not ready for it. So then you in turn say, hey, this person is more qualified. This person is going to hold us down and continue to build on what I worked so hard for. I'm going to give it to him, or I'm going to give it to her. And that might cause a big stir in the family. That might shake some things up. Man, I'm your son. How can you not? Hey, man, you ain't ready. And I worked too hard for this to just let you throw it away. So there are people who look for the free ride. They feel as though you're supposed to do it because you did. Nah, man. Still qualify yourself. Still work hard to figure out and gain an understanding of what it is, and to show respect for what was built before you came. See, it's disrespectful. And then even if it's like an older person, they pass away or something like this, and well, shh, granddaddy rolling over in his grave. If he could see what that boy did and how he just just ran that whole company into the ground, granddaddy would be, it's like, and the person may say, granddaddy ain't here. He be all right. He not here. So we have to put ourselves in a mind frame to be willing to work for whatever it is that we got, because it's only gonna make us better. It's only gonna make us better, man. And even if you do receive something handed to you, take that as a blessing, but have the understanding enough to say, okay, this has been given to me. Why? Because you shouldn't have got it. You ain't ready for it. But since you have it, learn it, and figure out what you need to do in order to sustain and maintain it. And that will help you moving forward, man. Because guess what? When you know somebody's story, when you know a person's story, it gives you a deeper appreciation and respect for that person, man. Some people we be around all the time, man, and you just never had that conversation with them, or you never seen them talk about anything beyond what y'all talk about on a regular basis, and then you hear a story, you be like, wow, I didn't even know that you went through that you dealt with that struggle. Now, I've been working with this guy for 15 years. I never knew that so you gain a deeper respect for that person. So in that light, man, if that's the person you're connected to and you know that story, then now you got an obligation to maintain what they built. Alright, man, this is your big brother K-Rino. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Again, I appreciate y'all giving me the 50,000 subs, man. Y'all keep on checking me out and support the movement, support the music. Alright, peace and love.